What? Imagine running a marathon in the desert in the summer. And this marathon doesn't have a finish line. In this marathon, you run till you drop. It's called the air conditioner marathon. In places like Minneapolis or Portland, or any of them other places where it don't get real hot, air conditioners can last 20 years or more. But down here, where birds burst into flames in midair and fall down fully roasted from the skies, Zach, yep. What are you doing? I'm helping people understand this ain't important. Here in the desert, air conditioners last about 11 years. But you don't have to spend money on a snowblower, or salt for that icy sidewalk, or windshield de-icer for your car. Zach, I don't think they need any of those things in Portland. Did I say Portland? I meant to say Minneapolis. A new AC from Kettle will keep your home cooler and use a lot less energy. So if you think your AC might be about ready to go to air conditioner heaven, call Kettle. GOETTL will keep you cool, but it's hard to spell.
Ignorance is bliss. We have zero bliss. Completely blissless. KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. It's time for your morning wake-up call. And now, here's Jennifer Jones-Lee.
Love it.
Not so cheap.
Tyler Whitman coming up with a new opener for the show. This feels like Friday. Kickstart my heart, kickstart my weekend. Welcome to it. It's KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. On this Friday, August 20th, we have the most jam-packed show we've had in a long time coming up. Everyone who gets to an outdoor mega event of more than 10,000 people in LA County now has to wear a mask. This all starts today. Officials in Ventura County are trying to figure out whether to charge Britney Spears with battery. We've got a judge in LA who's denied a woman's request for a 5-year restraining order against Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer. 5:05, we'll talk with ABC's Karen Travers. What in the world is going on? So the president said in that recent interview with George Stephanopoulos, we talked about this yesterday, that U.S. troops would stay in Afghanistan until all American cities had been evacuated, which meant that we could push on past that August 31st drawdown. Yesterday and kind of seems to contradict the president's plan. Yeah, we really can't stay there until after the 31st. Unless we negotiate something. Well, I didn't know there was a negotiation on this, so we'll talk about that with Karen in just a second. And at 5:10, changing up the show a little bit because we are so extra packed this morning. So we'll do some of our biz bites this morning. Did you hear Johnson & Johnson CEO is stepping down? This is the guy who led them through the talcum powder lawsuits. This is the guy that's had to watch over the COVID vaccine booster shots controversy. Now he's stepping down. Also, we'll talk, could you buy a home with Bitcoin? Apparently, there's one company that says, yeah, sure, why not? And Toys R Us is back again-ish. So all those stories are coming up. But let's begin with some of these stories we're following in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Everyone who goes to an outdoor mega event of more than 10,000 people in LA County, like baseball and football games or open-air concerts, now has to wear a mask. Now, they say that at midnight last night, the order went into effect. So this new one requires mask wearing, except for when eating or drinking. The LA County Department of Public Health says the order applies to everyone, regardless of their vaccination status. Then we change over to Orange County, where there's a new study regarding pregnant women and COVID-19. And researchers at UC Irvine have found women giving birth with COVID have a much greater risk of dying.
The study also found a much higher risk for respiratory failure, being admitted to the ICU, and having a preterm baby.
There are about 17 women who would die in 100,000.
High-risk pregnancy specialist and study co-author Dr. Afshan Hamid says that may seem rare.
But when they have COVID-19, the risk of death is 15-fold higher.
870,000 pregnancies were observed as part of the year-long study.
The best way to prevent this is literally the prevention, which means getting vaccinated.
Hamid says vaccines are considered safe for women and their babies. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
2 teenagers have been charged with the deaths of 3 people who were killed during an illegal street race in Burbank. Burbank Police Sergeant Emil Brimway says 19-year-old Hamlet Agajanyan was racing another driver August 3rd when they collided with another car. 3 of the 4 people in the third car were ejected.
Mr. Agajanyan is being held
in lieu of $6 million bond and is scheduled to appear in court on August 23, 2021. The driver of the black Mercedes-Benz, a 17-year-old minor, was also taken into custody.
Brimway says the 17-year-old is a juvenile and is in the detention center. Britney Spears may be facing charges for getting into it with an employee at her home.
The worker has filed a report with the Ventura County Sheriff's Department saying she was battered by Spears at the home on Monday. Captain Eric Bouchot said it was no big deal and there were no injuries, but the worker wants Spears prosecuted.
So deputies generated a report, and that report ultimately will be forwarded to the Ventura County District Attorney's Office for consideration for a filing misdemeanor battery charge.
Spears' rep says nothing physical happened and that cops assured them the case would go nowhere. Brian Berman, KFI News.
A judge in L.A. has denied a woman's request for a 5-year restraining order against Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer. The judge said in a ruling that the woman's own testimony showed Bauer followed set boundaries during 2 rough sexual encounters. Bauer's lawyer, Sean Hawley, says they're grateful for the judge's ruling.
We've expected this outcome since the petition was filed in June, but we appreciate the court reviewing all the relevant information and testimony to make this informed decision.
And Bauer is still being investigated by Pasadena police in Major League Baseball. And a former fiancé of Larry Elder says he's not qualified to replace Governor Newsom in the recall election.
We can do better than Larry Elder.
Alexandra Doddig claims Elder once flashed a gun during a heated conversation in 2015. She told KFI's John and Ken show Elder took a gun out of a nightstand, checked the bullets, then put it back in.
But he wanted to make sure that I saw it.
Now, she says she signed a non-disclosure agreement about her relationship with Elder, but now there's too much at stake. She supports Kevin Faulconer in the recall. Elder says he's never brandished a gun at anyone and called the allegations salacious. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk, can we stay in Afghanistan past August 31st to get all the U.S. citizens out? We'll find out when we talk with ABC's Karen Travers. But right now, let's say good morning to Nick Paliocchini, who is checking our drive on the 101. Nick, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Jen. Checking out the drive southbound side as you're making your way from about Van Nuys Boulevard, heading toward a Woodman. Looks like it was overnight Caltrans crews working in the area. 2 left lanes were shut down. In fact, they may be off limits until 6 this morning. Caltrans cam in the area. It's a little dark, but definitely can see the delays on the map. So if you have an update on this or anything else slowing you down, pound 250 on your cell phone. Keyword is KFI traffic. Further southbound on the 101, getting out of Studio City through the Cahuenga Pass into Hollywood and downtown. That's all looking like a pretty decent drive to start things out for you first thing this morning. Starting to see some light delays through Corona, westbound side of the 91. You got it. It's going to be busy from about Green River to head toward the 241 toll road. So far, Friday morning light for the most part. KFI in the sky helps get to there faster. I'm Nick Paliocchini.
5:06 on your wake-up call. Karen Travers, happy Friday to you. So let's start with what we can and cannot do in Afghanistan and what the president seems to say to George Stephanopoulos versus what we heard from the Pentagon spokesman John Kirby yesterday when it comes to getting people out of Afghanistan and possibly having to push back that August 31st drawdown date.
Yeah, you know, we're hearing that obviously they want to keep that August 31st date as their deadline for the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. But I think the president gave a bit more wiggle room in terms of getting down to number 0 by August 31st. That's just 11 days away. The president told George Stephanopoulos that the U.S. is committed to getting every American out of Afghanistan, even if it means potentially extending the mission beyond that date. Now, George asked him, are you committed to making sure troops stay until Americans who want to get out are out? The president interrupted him and said, yes. But then when he was pushed on whether Americans should then kind of realize that troops might have to stay beyond that date, the president said no, that the administration is going to try and get it done by that date. And that's what the Pentagon was saying yesterday. But, you know, the question is, what is the total universe of people that the United States is looking to evacuate between now and August 31st? The numbers that the administration is providing show that there is an increase almost every day of the number of people evacuated. Yesterday it was 3,000 people from Kabul, nearly 350 U.S. citizens, their family members, those special immigrant visa applicants and their families, and other vulnerable Afghans. There's been about 9,000 people evacuated since last Saturday, but we don't know yet, what's that total number that they're looking to get out, and can they do that by the 31st?
Okay, and Afghan people say that they're still having trouble getting through Taliban checkpoints and into the airport in Kabul. So how do we get them out if they can't even get there?
Yeah, that's the big question. And, the Pentagon, the White House has been saying this week, like, we don't have the means to facilitate people getting from point A to the airport in Kabul. It was difficult enough to secure that situation there and then start those evacuation flights. There are other evacuation flights, charter flights that are happening, and the Pentagon says that the U.S. military is facilitating those departures. Yesterday it was 11 charter flights. So that's additional people that weren't included in those numbers I just gave you of the 3,000 people the U.S. evacuated just yesterday.
Okay, and then just one more question when it comes to that August 31st deadline. In Pentagon spokesman John Kirby saying, yeah, we would have to negotiate something past that. Does the Taliban seem interested in negotiating past that? I mean, they keep claiming they're this kinder, gentler Taliban, but we all find we're all a little skeptical.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a big question too. Of what's the diplomatic? I use that word just kind of broadly. Conversation that's happening with the Taliban, or what conversations at all are happening. And I think the Pentagon will say that they have said August 31st. That is the date. The president wanted everybody out by the symbolic September 11th date for that 20th anniversary of the attack. But, I think they're also saying that, look, if they have to revisit that, they would also consider revisiting that. The administration says they're in communication with the top commanders in terms of getting people to the airport and trying to get assurances that people can get from other parts of the country or even just the city out to the airport. But as we've seen, this is a very complicated process. Criticism the administration is facing over the past couple of days is, if this is so difficult to get people out, get them evacuated, why was the troop drawdown going so quickly? Why was it ahead of schedule? Shouldn't this have been the priority now over the past couple of weeks and months?
Absolutely. Karen, thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, you too.
All right, see you later. ABC's Karen Travers. I think that's the question that a lot of people have. And that's why you keep hearing phrases like botched drawdown, or debacle, or premature. All words that you could use to describe what's happened. And it's just, I still think that, as Karen was saying, that a lot of people are questioning this, and I know I am, I assume probably many of you are as well. How come we didn't get these people out first? Did we put the cart before the horse? That's what it feels like to me, but we'll hopefully get them out by August 31st. Let's do fingers crossed, and then we'll see what happens past that date. All right, a couple of more stories before we get into your Biz Bites. There's a massive U.S. Navy transport ship on its way to Haiti to help with relief efforts following last weekend's big earthquake. Some aid workers like Monty Oedeker are already on the ground.
We're here to bring an emergency field hospital unit to the area that was stricken by the earthquake. We'll be handling various orthopedic procedures.
The USS Arlington is due to get to Haiti by Sunday. It's taking a fleet surgical team, 200 Marines, 2 helicopters, and a landing craft. And look at this Little League baseball team from Torrance. Woo-woo! Winning the opening game of the Little League World Series. The Torrance All-Stars, I'm sorry, they didn't win. They clobbered the team from New Hampshire 10-2 last night. The All-Stars are the first team from LA County to play in the Little League World Series since 1994. The next game is on Sunday. All right, now let's get to your Biz Bites, brought to you by Equinox Home Financing, the answer for self-employed. Go to equinoxhomefinancing.com. Let's start with Johnson & Johnson CEO stepping down. And I don't necessarily, it's not like there's a big controversy right now where you can look at this and say, oh my gosh, this guy stepped down because of some big scandal that was happening. This guy is the one. His name is Joaquin Duato, and he will be appointed as the next CEO as Alan Gorski steps down. Gorski is the one who led the company through a lot of legal problems, like the talcum powder lawsuits. And Gorski says he's going to remain the company chairman, but he wants to focus on his family due to family health reasons. But he didn't say if it was his or somebody in his family, or, health could be just simply, I want to spend more time with the family. All right, the second largest U.S. mortgage lender will start accepting mortgages in Bitcoin. So it's United Wholesale Mortgage is your mortgage with this company. It announced plans this week to accept cryptocurrency for home loans in an apparent first for the national mortgage industry. The company says it hopes to start accepting Bitcoin in Q3, and it's currently weighing other digital currencies as well. All right, here's the deal with Toys R Us. You know what? I'm excited anytime nostalgia gets a reboot, right? Will this one work? Maybe, and here's why. Toys R Us isn't doing its own thing this time around. It's partnering with Macy's. So the two companies will come together to sell toys on Macy's website. And if you think about it, this is kind of brilliant because this is going to rival the Targets and the Walmarts. But Macy's is going to be able to say, but we have these slightly higher-end brands at our store. So when you log on to our website, you can get these fancier brands. Oh, and you can get toys for the kids. We're the one-stop shop for Christmas. So I kind of think even the launch time is really good. So the brands are also opening Toys R Us shops at 400 department stores next year. And again, this is the second attempt to revive the Toys R Us brands. And I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I see this one. And finally, what happens to Tim Tebow? Now that the guy was let go by the Jacksonville Jaguars, which ends his comeback in the NFL, it was revealed that Tebow partnered with Clean Juice to become the company's national brand ambassador. He says the biggest thing about Clean Juice over everything else is you can trust the product and brand. There aren't a lot of products that are transparent about what's in your food. And they say Tim Tebow's natural authenticity, inspiring reputation, and commitment to healthy living is what they're excited about him. So Tim Tebow lives on past the NFL, like we thought he wouldn't. All right, we come back. We're going to talk with one of the nicest guys I've never met in person. ABC7's news automotive specialist, Dave Coombs, is emceeing the San Marino Motor Classic car show in a couple of weeks, and it just happens to be benefiting one of my favorite charities, which is the Pasadena Humane Society. So we'll talk with Dave about what cool things to expect this year, and I want to find out what part of the show Dave is looking forward to most. So he's coming up in just a second. But speaking of cars, let's see what your drive's like and why it's slow in Corona on the 91.
It's your usual morning delays, although it is Friday morning light, so you're only going to see a bit of a sluggish drive westbound side of the 91 coming away from the 71, maybe before that from as far back as Surface Club as you head toward the 241 toll road, but nothing too crazy to ride home about so far. If you do have something that is slowing down your morning, though, pound 250 on the cell phone. Keyword is KFI traffic. Always appreciate that heads up on your morning drive. As you make your way through the Sherman Oaks area, it looks like Caltrans crews still wrapping up shop for you southbound along the 101 Van Nuys Boulevard to Woodman, although updating the maps are really not looking too bad for your drive as you come away from the 405. Continue to head through Studio City, the Cahuenga past Hollywood toward downtown. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Nick Polly-O'Keene.
In 1775, the patriot Patrick Henry said, "Give me liberty or give me death." Hello, I'm John Okoyan, owner of Rooter Hero Plumbing. Today, I feel it has become, take my liberties, just keep me safe. My late father cherished the freedoms our nation's founders fought for. Still, he would have gotten vaccinated just to be able to work long hours to provide for his family. He would have done whatever it takes, mandate or not. That's who my dad was. As we approach Labor Day, there are less people in the workplace. I feel for restaurant owners, mom and pop bakeries, venues, and retail stores who are struggling to stay open. At Rooter Hero, we are blessed to have men and women who will do whatever it takes to help you. Our team worked through all of 2020, and they are here for you in 2021. It's your trust in us that keeps Rooter Hero Plumbing going. Thank you.
Everybody needs a hero. RooterHero.com.
CL 1028886.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Go fast and push yourself when you run, swim, or play any sport. And stay hydrated with Electrolyte. Electrolyte's great flavors and scientifically superior hydration formula help you recover in an instant. Head to your local Circle K and grab a cold and hydrating Electrolyte.
This is former Notre Dame quarterback Brady Quinn. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Electrolyte.
A judge denied a woman's request for a restraining order against Trevor Bauer. The LA judge decided the Dodgers pitcher posed no threat to the woman who accused him of sexual assault. After the ruling, MLB officials extended Bauer's administrative leave for a sixth time. He remains under investigation by police and the MLB. And the red-hot Dodgers edge the Mets, extending their winning streak to 7. I'm Misty Jordan.
Take the shortcut to your next great hire. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, Instant Match immediately delivers a list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
What makes one head of lettuce better than another? At Ralph's, we take scrutinizing freshness to a whole new level, where only the best of the best will do. That means not every leafy green leaves the field, and not every grape makes the grade. So when you shop Ralph's, you know it's not just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Ralph's, fresh for everyone.
Now it's even easier to save on your favorites with delivery and free pickup. Just visit Ralphs.com or the app today. Restrictions apply. Ralphs, fresh for everyone.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching. Visit SpectrumMobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit SpectrumMobile.com/save for details.
Rick Edelman, award-winning radio host and founder of Edelman Financial Engines, takes questions on his radio show. Let's hear his advice on annuities.
Hey Rick, I'm looking for a good investment. Should I consider a fixed annuity?
Well, fixed annuities aren't really investments, they're insurance products. You'll get a fixed rate of return from them, but it might not be enough to offset taxes and inflation. Most annuity contracts require you to keep the money there for 5 to 10 years, and if you're under age 59 and a half, any withdrawals are subject to a 10% IRS penalty. You should talk, therefore, to a fee-based financial advisor to see if an annuity is right for you, not someone who makes a living earning commissions selling annuities. You want a fiduciary who puts your best interests first.
If you're looking for a trusted partner who's got your back, talk to one of our experienced financial planners by calling 888-PLAN-RICK or visit rickedelman.com.
When it comes to keeping you and your business safe, Bay Alarm brings the best. Like offering virtual security consultations on your mobile phone. Because if your security's not the best, you're not secure. Now, more than ever, Bay Alarm. ACO 2HCCL 880138.
When it comes to the tools in your garage, it's all about lithium-ion. Plenty of power, maximum efficiency, and a longer life. Why would your warehouse be any different? Introducing Novalift lithium-ion powered forklifts. All the power and efficiency you need and essentially maintenance-free. With a dramatic savings in overall cost of ownership, Novalift forklifts pay for themselves over time, and that increases your bottom line. Novalift, revolutionizing the material handling industry one job at a time. What's in your warehouse? Find out more at novaliftna.com/save.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
A lot of people have this belief,
oh, I'm helping the environment, sending these electronics to a Goodwill store.
Unless it's working, they're going to take it to the landfill also.
Now I know why you wanted to do this story. Because you want to hang on to your junk.
Right, I'm nostalgic.
Because you're a little bit of a hoarder.
No, nostalgic.
Nostalgic.
Gary and Shannon.
That's what I am.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KFI.
Monday's blue, Tuesday's grey, and Wednesday's too. Thursday, I don't care about you. It's Friday, I'm in love.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and some of the stories we're watching in the KFI 24-hour newsroom on this Friday. Everyone who goes to an outdoor mega event of more than 10,000 people in LA County. So say you're going to a Dodgers game this weekend, or you've got an upcoming football game, a concert, whatever. Now you have to wear a mask. The new COVID-19 health order came into effect at midnight last night. It requires mask wearing except when eating or drinking. And officials in Ventura County are trying to figure out whether to charge Britney Spears with battery, like she needs anything else in her life. Now, investigators say one of Spears' employees claims she was attacked at the singer's home on Monday. Spears is accused of slapping a phone out of the worker's hand. It'll be up to the Ventura County DA to decide if she'll actually be charged. 5:35, we'll talk with KFI's House Whisperer, Dean Sharp. Dean's taking calls this weekend on his show, so whatever comes to your mind, you'll be able to ask Dean about your house, or if you're building something or renovating something. And so I thought, what would I ask Dean if I was able to call him this weekend? And I know one of the things that I'm always curious about is what should I be doing from season to season? So as summer's wrapping up, what should I be doing to gear up for fall? So, you know, I'm not outside in the rain or something if we get a rain early fall. So Dean's going to talk with us about how to wrap up summer at your house and get ready for fall when we talk with him in just a few minutes. And right now we get to talk with the man who I think is one of the nicest guys I have never met in person. It's ABC7's news automotive specialist, Dave Koontz. Dave is emceeing the San Marino Classic Car Show. It's actually this weekend. I thought it was September 22nd. It is August 22nd. And it benefits, of course, one of my favorite charities. I talk about it all the time, Pasadena Humane Society. Dave, welcome to Wake Up Call.
Well, Jennifer, it's great to be here, and thanks so much for having me on. I'm so excited about the show this weekend because last year, of course, it had to be postponed because nobody could have an event with COVID restrictions. This year, the show is back and better than ever, and it's going to be absolutely spectacular on Sunday. And, of course, I know that you love the Pasadena Humane Society, and this show is so focused with them that they bring their mobile adoption center to the event, and they have it right there with adoptable pets that are right there amongst all these fantastic, beautiful cars. So if you're a car person and you're like a doggy person, this is the best car show you'll ever go to.
Basically, you're saying you know what I need to be at on Sunday, right?
Of course, of course. It's at the beautiful Lacey Park in San Marino, which most people have never heard of, but it's this wonderful 30-acre park with tons of trees and shade, and they display hundreds of beautiful cars all over the grass. There's food trucks down at one end. There's just all kinds of things to do there. And you might see a volunteer from the Humane Society walking around with a nice little doggie, and they'll have a kerchief on saying, "You can adopt me." And they go around, and of course, who doesn't like to pet a nice little friendly dog while they're looking at some, gorgeous car? So it's really, really a fun event. And then there's a gala tomorrow night, the Symphony of Cars Gala. It's a sit-down dinner with a live orchestra, and they bring up a selection of cars onto a stage, and my co-MC, Ed Justice, and I, we get a little story about the car, and then the orchestra plays a classic song from the era that that car was built. So it's called the Symphony of Cars. Unfortunately, that's sold out, but there's an asterisk there. There may be some tickets available to that. And then, of course, Sunday, starting at 9 o'clock, they open the gates. The weather's going to be spectacular. When they had to move the event to August, just when they were planning it, they thought, okay, June may not work, so let's plan for August. We thought, oh boy, San Marino can be really hot in August. It's only going to be in the low 80s on Sunday, so they even lucked out with the weather. And I spoke to the chairman yesterday. They have 480 cars registered. Over 100 of those are Ferraris alone, and it's just going to be an absolutely spectacular event.
All right, Dave, you being the ultimate car guy in Southern California, you've probably been to a bazillion of these events, but specifically at this show, what is it that you love most about it?
There's two things you got to have for a good, successful, top-quality car show. You got to have the right cars, and they have the most spectacular cars from people literally are bringing them from all over the country. We're talking about the Packards and the Duesenbergs, the Grand Classics. I mentioned the Ferraris. And, of course, if you like sports cars, there's Porsches, there's Corvettes. There's a little bit of everything. And then you got to have a great setting. And if you go to the website for the San Marino Classic, you can see photos of previous year's show. This is the most gorgeous park. It is 30 acres, trees and flowers, and it's just a place you would want to park beautiful cars and stroll around and look at them. And, if you're an Instagrammer, make sure your battery's full on your phone because you're going to be taking pictures of everything at the show. I really think it's obviously the premier car show of Southern California. It's one of the top car shows in the country after only being around for 10 years. It started in 2011, so just kind of a jaw-dropping event. And you might bump into someone you know or someone who has a car that you've heard about but never seen in your life. It's just your neck's going to get sore from turning. Ooh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that.
I love some of the awards, too, that are being given this year. Best in Show Pre-War, Post-War, Most Exotic Sports Car Award. So a lot of times people think, oh, these are just a whole bunch of old cars. These are sometimes, though, not just old cars. These are some of the most specific and special old cars you've ever seen.
And these are very, very rare in some cases. A lot of them have what they call coach-built bodies. So back in the 1930s, if you were a well-to-do person and you ordered like a Duesenberg, Duesenberg only built the chassis and the engine, and then you had what they called a coach builder would build the body for you. Let's say you were a captain of industry or a Hollywood celebrity. So some of these cars are literally one-of-a-kind cars because they only built one with that specific body on it. So it's one of those things where, you know, I always joke, you know, these are the cars you won't see in the parking lot at Vaughn's. Well, not only that, you may never see a car like this again in your life.
Okay, I have to ask you before you go, Dave, what cars are in your garage at this moment?
Well, I have some cars not worthy of a show like this. I have some favorite classics, but my pride and joy is a 1965 Mustang that my aunt and uncle bought new in 1965, and that I used to ride in as a kid. And when they were finally ready to sell it, they gave me first chance back in the 90s, and that is my absolute pride and joy. I've got a few other cars, but that's the car that I will never sell, and I have such strong memories of that car. It is the car that I think of like a family member. My aunt and uncle passed away a few years back, but I have that car, and I remember riding in the back seat of that car as a kid.
That is cool. What color?
It's called Honey Gold. It's kind of a lime green
with
a light green interior, so it's very 1960s. It really is. It's groovy, as Austin Powers might say.
And so you kept it. You kept it in original condition, full 9 yards?
Yes, no, it's spectacular. My aunt and uncle never had any kids, and they were very neat and tidy people, and it was always garaged. And my uncle was an insurance claims adjuster, and he knew all these body shops, so it was repainted in 1982, the factory color, and it still has that paint on the car to this day.
Oh, that is awesome. If you guys don't follow Dave on Instagram, you need to. ABC7 Dave Coons. I love following you because you show cars that either, sometimes they're concept cars or cars that we haven't seen before, or you get a chance to test them out before they, you know, hit the market or something like that. But it's so fun. I don't really know a lot about the inside of cars, but I know what I like on the outside, and I feel like you kind of have this ongoing display to keep my mind like, ooh, I'd love one of those. Ooh, basically, you're spending my husband's money.
Well, you know, we all want to be Jay Leno if we had the space and we had the money, but, you know, maybe we could just have a little bit of something that he might own, either an old car or a new car. I kind of like them both.
Exactly, me too. Dave, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. I really do hope someday to get to meet you in person. Have a wonderful time this weekend, and again, this is going to be the San Marino Motor Classic, that is, and it'll be at Lacey Park in San Marino at 9 o'clock on Sunday, and $25 for advance tickets, $35 for the day of event, and have fun emceeing tonight. Sounds like you've got a heck of a time.
It'll be a lot of fun this weekend. Maybe I'll see you on Sunday.
You know what? If I can get out there, I definitely will. I've got to drop my husband at the airport in Burbank, which means, oh, look, I could just turn around and come back to the show myself.
It'll be right on your way home.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
All right, Jen. Thank you.
See ya. Have a good one. ABC7's Dave Coons. Did I not tell you he's the nicest guy? Nicest guy ever. And he loves cars. I love them, too. I just don't have the money for a lot of cars. We have one classic car. And it's a 1967 Cougar. And my husband has always wanted a Cougar. So, right before we got married, he found this Cougar on Craigslist. And it had been on there for months. And it just kept dropping in value by a couple $1,000 every month or so. But we're planning for a wedding, right? So that, like, I'm going to let him spend money on a car, right? Finally, it gets to this, like, price where, okay, I would have gone out and bought it for this price, right? But, of course, I'm not going to tell him that. And he says to me, hey, that Cougar dropped to this crazy price. What if I bought it but promised you that we could drive away in it for the wedding? And I thought, okay, that's actually brilliant. Okay, that'd be awesome. So I said, yeah, sure. And I said, but it has to be in drive-away condition. We're not driving away in a clunker. You've got to get it repainted. You've got to, you know, it needed some damage work done, all that. That was the stupidest thing I ever did because you know what happened? For the next 6 months, as I'm planning the wedding, he's out in the garage doing the car. He's like, sorry, honey, can't help with the wedding. You told me how to get the car ready.
Hey, Jen.
Yeah?
Oddly enough, I'm a 1967 Cougar.
Dean. Okay, that was a great segue. And our 1967 Cougar Dean Sharp is coming up to tell us what you need to do to change from summer to fall. Oh, Dean, I can already tell you're on fire this morning. Now I'm excited.
We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there. All right, coming up in just a second, we'll talk with Dean. Right now, let's take a look at your drive. Nick, where are you heading?
Heading to Corona, westbound side of the 90. I don't know, Dean Sharp.
How do you follow that?
Yeah, I was like, Dean, you can do the traffic, you cougar. Checking the drive on the westbound side of the 91 through the Corona area. It's going to be a rough ride for you right now as you come away from Surface Club, heading toward the 241 toll road. Now, again, stick with it. It's Friday morning light compared to what it's been the rest of the week, but you are still seeing those delays. Again, 91 westbound through Corona from Surface Club as you make your way toward the 241 toll road. As per usual, if you do have an update of something slowing down your drive, you got the heads up of what is causing problems. Pound 250 on your cell phone. Keyword is KFI traffic. Again, pound 250 on your cell phone. Keyword KFI traffic. Northbound side of the 5 starting to get busy for you out of East LA and Commerce as you leave the 710 heading to Boyle Heights towards the 101. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Nick Poliokini.
I know it's National Happiness Happens Month, but just between you and me, happiness is always happening at Morongo. So what are you waiting for? And now, the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
Hydrate, illuminate, or rejuvenate. Get great deals on all our signature services at Sage Spa.
Number 4.
Pizza perfection at Good Times Cafe. Gooey cheese, your favorite toppings, and that crust is a must.
3.
Keep it cool giveaway. You can get a roomy 45-can collapsible cooler when you earn 500 points on your rewards card, the 23rd or 24th.
Number 2.
Come alive with live bands every weekend at the Sideline Stage. Latin, rock, funk, and soul, all at the Sideline Bar.
And the number 1 reason.
King of Thieves giveaway. 4 winners every hour get a chance to steal away up to $2,000 cash. Play your favorite games with your rewards card. Fridays, 5 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo. Good times.
SoCal weather from KFI. Partly cloudy and cool, as Dave was mentioned in the forecast. Highs today are just going to be upper 60s to mid-70s, mid-70s at Metro LA and OC, low to mid-80s for the valleys in the IE. Beautiful weekend ahead. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee.
At Whole Foods Market, save on Annie's homegrown products, including select mac and cheese that's 10 for $10 through August 24th while supplies last. Plus, Prime members get an extra 10% off. Learn more on the Whole Foods Market app.
Before I started Rooter Hero Plumbing, I was an angry young man. Hello, I'm John Aquarian. I was angry because my dad died when I was 17 and he left me alone. I was angry because I couldn't go to college with my friends and because I had to drop out of high school. It's not a pleasant story. But as I grew older, I also grew up. I realized that my dad didn't leave me alone. He left me with values and principles that continue to shape my life. Dad said, be on time. He didn't like it when people were late. He taught me to be polite. It was something I lost, but recaptured along the way. And he taught me to keep my promises, because broken promises lead to broken relationships. We teach and keep these values at Rooter Hero Plumbing. I think we have a pretty good company. I know we have great people. And if one of our heroes fails to live up to these values, please call me. My private number is on the back of every Rooter Hero business card. You can also reach us at rooterhero.com. Thank you.
Everybody needs a hero.
CL 102-8886.
Go solar with local and veteran-owned Semper Solaris. Visit sempersolaris.com.
Live.
KFI AM 640.
Local.
And I'm our radio station.
Hey y'all, it's Dean Sharp. Today's wake-up call, House Whisperer segment, brought to you by Duffy Power. Go to duffypower.com and never suffer through another power outage again. duffypower.com, duffypower.com.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I'm not going to make you wait to get to Dean Sharp. Dean, good morning.
Good morning.
Somebody just wrote on Twitter, Lonnie just wrote, morning, Jen, happy Friday. Congrats to Scott. He got a cougar and he's married to one, too.
Exactly.
Does 2.5 years a cougar make? Come on now.
I'm not responsible for what goes through my mind at 5:30 in the morning. That's all I'm saying.
Dean. All right, you can follow Dean, of course, on social media at Home with Dean, or you can just listen to him do both tomorrow morning, 6 to 8, 9 to 11 on Sunday, and this weekend especially because you've got the open line so people can just call and ask questions, and I'm sure a lot of times people are like, what's his topic this weekend? Okay, great, I'm going to listen, but gosh, I wish I need to talk about this one specifically that is on your list. I need to talk to you about how to freaking wash your windows, and you say you have the secret to them as we transition from summer to fall. Do tell.
The secret of washing windows, and yes, you're right, this weekend, you know, every few weeks, so we're running at about an 8-week cycle now. Every few weeks we just push everything aside and we're like, listen, all we're going to do is take calls so that we can kind of catch up, because I love talking to our listeners. We have great listeners. They have great questions and they have needs. And so we're just going to be answering phone calls all weekend long. Transitioning to fall, you know, I always say that fall cleaning, we always talk about spring cleaning, it gets a lot of press, but fall cleaning, in my opinion, is the most important cleaning of the year. As you think about your house, if you're going to be entertaining for the holidays, you know, we're about to start closing up windows and doors as the weather changes, and so it's time to kind of nuke the house, get it all ready so that it can sustain all that close activity and close contact. And one of the things that you want to do is you want to hit those windows that have been kind of just doing their thing all summer long. And people have a lot of confusion when it comes to cleaning windows. It's actually very simple, the secret. Just watch a professional window cleaner. Here's what a professional window cleaner will never do. Pull out a bottle of Windex and a paper towel and go to town on your windows. No, what you're going to see is just a small bucket of soapy water, just simple, it could be dish soap, soapy water, and a squeegee, because we've got to get enough water on the window to actually start moving some of that accumulated dust. We think about Windex, we think about stains or things that have clung to the window. That's all well and good if a window is already relatively clean, but we've just got dust buildup that's clinging to the outside of a window. So we need a good amount of water to just, number one, hose it off, as it were, rinse it off, and then a squeegee to just drag all of that emulsion off the window. If you want to finish up with a window cleaner and a paper towel, fine. But if you start with one, all you're going to be doing is kind of pushing it around, swirling it around on the window and not pulling it off. A squeegee, a good hand squeegee, it costs you about $8 at the hardware store.
I thought I was going to say that's a less than $10 solution to clean
Durango,
All right, you say we should clean the gutters. What if we don't have trees around us?
You should still clean it, because one of the biggest issues with drainage, if we were to hit a big rainstorm in a gutter, is not necessarily pine needles or leaves that fill up the gutter, but dust and sediment that just is out there. You know, I mean, the reason we wash our cars is because just being outside, a layer of stuff builds up. Well, up in the gutters, it's that bottom half-inch or quarter-inch of sediment that can build up in the gutters. Gutters are not sloped extremely. In fact, some people's gutters aren't sloped at all as far as drainage. They just rely on the fact that water builds up and it finds the hole of the downspout to drain down. When you've got a good quarter-inch plus of just good old-fashioned sediment built up, it can disrupt the flow of water in the gutters and cause them to back up.
Okay, I want to talk about something that you on social media, I think the thing that I wanted to see most when we went to your house was the fire pit in your backyard. Because if anybody's ever thought, I don't know if I really use a fire pit or not, Dean will get up early in the morning, especially like in the fall and the winter when it gets a little bit cooler, brisk. He